Chip Kelly, well, I don't even know how to start this segment off, Joe. It's rumored, I guess, or sourced that it's likely that Chip Kelly will be fired at the end of the year or sometime maybe after this week. Who knows when he'll be fired? They play USC this week. I'm taking the Trojans, I might add, because of all the chaos that is surrounding that. Look, I think Chip Kelly is a football guy, right? He just wants to sit at a bar, drink some whiskey, draw up plays, and be left alone. That is Chip Kelly. He doesn't like to recruit. He doesn't really like to do all those things. He did get Dante Moore, and I'll give him that. So he did recruit a little bit there. I think NIL played a pretty big role into that. Nevertheless, he did get a really good quarterback, but we see how this season has gone offensively. Joe, you mentioned something in the open in reference to it's tough to win there, and I don't disagree. They won 9 games a year ago. They went 9-4. The year before that, I think they went 8-4. This year, they sit at 6-4. But here's the thing with me and Chip Kelly. He is 33-33 at UCLA, 25-25 in the Pac-12. They are going to the Big Ten. Everybody's like, oh, I think it's too soon. I keep hearing everybody talk about, oh, it's too soon. Why did they pull the plug? That is because nobody's watching UCLA on the regular. And let me tell you why I think this is. You just look at Chip Kelly and think, all right, well, they got 9 wins. They got 8 wins. They are who they are. I don't buy into that. If you're an institution like UCLA, like USC, whoever you may be, a more prominent Power 5 school, Joe, you can't be 500 in 6 years. You have to inspire to be more. You have to inspire to be better. Being 25-25 through 50 games in the Pac-12, and Joe, he might lose to USC this week and have a losing record. Okay.
Probably will.
I just don't think that if you're trying to get to where you want to go, if you're UCLA, that's not acceptable. Now, I don't know who they go and get. I don't know if there's another coach that they can go and get that will be better than him. But one of the LA schools, if I'm UCLA, okay, well, I know that you have some academic standards. Did that stop Pete Carroll? Did that stop Ed Orgeron?
USC is not on the same and I know USC fans are probably going to get up my ass on that, but USC's are not on the same academic plane as UCLA.
It's not as big as like a Notre Dame, though. It's not bigger than a Duke. It's not bigger than
UCLA is active. We're just talking academically. UCLA is in that higher echelon category as Duke and Notre Dame.
You don't have to have standardized testing to get into UCLA, because I knew that this argument was going to come up. SAT, ACT, you don't need to get it in there. You have to have a grade point average. You have to take some kind of cognitive test, whatever. Joe, they're getting in dudes that they had no business getting in there. Is my only point to that. They can get dudes in there if they need to. He's not recruiting at a high enough level, and he's not winning at a high enough level. So you can say, oh, my God, why is he getting fired? I do get that. I do see that argument. Because I like Chip. I think Chip is, like I said earlier, is a football guy. I don't think that matters. If you want to be better than 500, you got to make a move. He's had 6 years to do it, Joe.
Okay, but here, again, I think we both agree, brilliant coach. Schematically is just one of the brightest minds in football. He has revolutionized the game that we see today. He set a lot of things in motion offensively in the NFL and in college football.
Yeah, him and Urban were pioneers.
My big thing why I think that this is a bit premature, and I said this in the open, I think that, one, it is difficult to win at UCLA consistently, and it is a program that requires multiple years of building to get in that right direction. Last year was the first year that we saw that they were in that position to succeed and in a position to be a good football program, but they didn't turn the page and find the right quarterback for them to continue building momentum. What we've seen this year is that defensively, they're even better than last year. If they had, maybe they went and got Graham Mertz. I think that their offensive situation would have been a million times better if they were able to coerce Graham Mertz into coming there and being their transfer quarterback. Instead, they went and got Colin Schley, who hasn't done anything. He's perfectly mediocre. They're running like triple option and stuff with him because they can't throw the damn football. What I'm getting at here is that I think that circumstantially, a program that we like to think historically was at one point one of the premier programs in the West in the Pac-12. But I look at them now and I see a team that has a stadium that nobody wants to go to because the traffic is too damn hard to get to Pasadena. I've thought about going to games. It's not that far from me, but I don't want to waste my goddamn night sitting in traffic for an hour and a half trying to get there. Nobody has any aspiration in Los Angeles to do that and to go watch these games. It's nowhere near the campus. The students don't want to go to the games. The alumni aren't that involved, and most of them don't even really live in Los Angeles. I just think that with those difficulties compared to other Power 5 programs that have expectations to be in that upper echelon, it's hard for them to win. For them to have 4 and 5 losses is not bad for UCLA standards. I think that if they get to 3 losses, that's the most that they're going to get to. That's their ceiling. There's no one you're going to go out there and hire that is going to produce better results than a 9-3 regular season. There's just not. You're not going to win the Big Ten as UCLA with the way that the current landscape
Who
is.
has tougher academic standards, Notre Dame or UCLA?
I think Notre Dame does, but like I'm not talking about the academic standard.
Why did Brian Kelly get to a playoff? You have a better
because nationally that's a way bigger brand.
He has a better in-state recruiting base. He has a better in-city recruiting base. Joe, he could throw a rock off of his porch and hit a 5-star.
But most of those kids that are in Los Angeles and that go to Mater Dei and go to St. John Bosco, most of them are opting to go out of the state because one, they don't want to stay in Los Angeles.
That's a problem. Okay. You can't get on to Lincoln Riley for those same kind of things and not get on to Chip Kelly about it.
But wait. But my whole point here is that UCLA's not as big of a brand as I think we think that they are anymore. They're just not.
No, I'm not disagreeing with the size of the brand that they are. But academic standards, the inability to recruit. Joe, Clemson wasn't a prominent standard program until Dabo took it over. There have been universities, Utah was not until Urban took it over. And then, Kyle Whittingham went in there, made it a winning culture, right? Like you cannot be 500 after 6 years and think that, okay, he needed more time. Needed more time for what?
But that's less about what I'm trying to get at here. What I'm trying to get at is that those schools, Utah, Clemson, have had a significant investment in trying to build up those football programs. UCLA currently is just not doing that. They're not. There is not that same level of commitment. So I'm trying to imply that it is backwards. It is backwards for UCLA to assume that they're going to go and get somebody else and bring them in and produce better results when inevitably they are not on the same standard as the other top teams in the Big Ten to provide the resources in order for them to get up to that top level. They're going to produce the same exact results.
They surely no had commitment to pay the NIL for Dante Moore.
But apparently there's that's total rumors, but there's possibilities that
he's in commercials. He's posting stuff on Instagram.
There has been instances where Chip Kelly has tried to ask for more resources. I think one of the things he had tension with the university and the administration was that he wanted more money for a better training table, and they gave him a hard time about it. What I'm trying, my whole point is that to expect them to do more, it's not going to happen. And I get the firing though, in the sense that you're turning the page to a new conference and you want to hire a new head coach. And you don't want to do it before it's too late. You don't want to fire Chip Kelly 2 years into the Big Ten and things aren't looking good. And then you're trying to play catch up with USC and Washington and Oregon in a new conference. You want to come out firing out the gate with a good foundation.
Cody McGee says Chip Kelly's buyout was $9 million. Will UCLA buy out that contract? Well, yeah. I mean, if it's $9 million, absolutely they will. As well, it's hard to recruit, especially with every player wanting to go to USC. Not every player was wanting to go to USC. Chip Kelly has not beat USC in 6 years. That's another thing.
That's true.
That is an issue. And what if if he loses again, that's 7 years. So that he's never beaten USC. Thank you, Cody, for the super chat. Let me just say this too. He has not been officially fired yet.
Actually, wait, I think that I don't think that's true about UCLA not beating USC. Wait 1 second.
Yeah, he beat him under Clay Helton.
Maybe he hasn't beaten Lincoln Riley though, but that's all. That's.
Well, he ain't beating Lincoln Riley.
All right, I'm not going to look that up right now. It's going to take too long to look up. Somebody in the chat corrected us though.
Who corrected us? I'll put it up here.
2018.
So it'd be year one.
Yeah, 34-27 in 2018. So yeah, they did. They have beaten him.
I mean, I'm just going off the super chat. I don't know the record either. Nevertheless, look, if this were anybody else in the country, okay,
yes.
and you're 33 through 6 years, if they do pull the plug, I don't blame them. Like, I really don't.
I agree with that sentiment. And also, before we flip to the first game, it is setting a dangerous precedent that if you pay us, we will read whatever you put on you put in the comment.
I mean, hey, he came up with a stat. I didn't. He said it.
I know. I'm just joking. It's kind of like a funny concept that if people want us to read stupid shit.
I bet you this has something with somebody's mom.
Yeah.
Michael Morris with a 499 says, "Sorry, I'm late. Hate to take a Jimbo and wipe my Arnett."
I think he said meant to say had to take a Jimbo and wipe my Arnett.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks,
feel bad
Michael.
for Zach Arnett, though. Let's see if UCLA actually does fire him, because this isn't,
it sounds like it's happening.
I've seen crazier shit.
Well,
listen to me.
Yeah.
I have been in a stadium where a man was going to get fired and was taken off the field, where players were holding him and took him to the locker room, and everybody knew he was going to be fired. And then the governor of the state called and said, "You're not firing him." Okay. And then the next season, yes. And then the next season, Les Miles got his ass kicked in game 1 by Wisconsin. By the way, it was the first football game that me and my now wife were together in, sitting in my mother's house. And I thought she was going to leave. She'd be like, "This dude's crazy as hell." And Wisconsin kicked our ass. I have seen crazier things happen. Jimbo Fisher, and thank God, thank you, Jesus Christ up above, that the governor of the state called and said, because then Ed Orgeron got the job. Then we got Joe Burrow. Nevertheless, I've literally with my eyes been on field level and seen crazier things happen.
No one's making that phone call. No one's making that phone call for Chip Kelly.
You don't think Governor Newsom would make that phone call?
Hell no.